Hello and welcome to another tutorial on the Universim. Today we're going to be doing medieval age stuff. Basically it'll be preparing for it and making sure we get a good head start into the medieval era of things. Right now we're just coming up on the tail end of the Stone Age, and I didn't want to go into the medieval age quite yet, but we're going to get all the electricity and everything else we can researched first. And I'm not really rushing into medieval age at all. I'm just basically making sure I have the best chances to get to it and have it thrive instead of have everything grind to a halt. So the first thing I'd like to touch on today is just the trade system, because sometimes it can be a little head scratching for people that haven't really figured it out yet. And basically what we have here is our inventory and their inventory, and they want to trade a certain amount of each of these items for something of ours. And there's a couple things that affect the actual trade rate. I have it set to aggressive right now, so that means that Namazawa is aggressive towards us, therefore our trade deals aren't going to be as good as they would be if it was neutral or, say, good. So, for example, food for herbs should be a 1-to-1 if you're at least in neutral. So if I do this and try and trade them, yeah, okay, so it still works like that. I've noticed a couple of them, it can be up to a 4-to-1 ratio or 3-to-1. So try and look at it in that sense. So, you know, if 10 of a basic material is going to be worth 1 of an advanced material, or 2, let's see, how much can we get? Okay, so I guess they really need food if they're willing to give up 25 planks for 100 food. You know, it's a 1-to-4, right? So any of those numbers, you can kind of screw around with it, but if you try and keep it in tens and hundreds, you'll see exactly what you need to trade them for it. So let's say if I wanted to get, you know, I need more planks than I do need bricks right now, so I could trade some food for it, but generally not a good idea with food. More of a stone, or if you have an excess of something. Currently we don't have an excess of anything, so just for the example, trade 25, or let's say 40, because if I trade 40 food, that would be 10 planks, right? The 1-to-4 right there. So that hits my mark right at the middle where they're dead even. If I go 1 over, the trade won't be available anymore. So my 4-to-1 ratio will be the bare minimum of trading for this particular exile city, because, you know, again, they hate us, so they're not really giving us any good deals right now. So I'll trade that just to help with the aggression, or at least go against it a bit. And while we're on the topic of trading, I'll touch on the black market a little bit, because this is one that not many people get, or not many people use. I don't use it much myself. More so based on the fact that, you know, the exile trade deals are a hell of a lot better than, you know, 10 ecology points for a chunk of rock. You know, especially when the ecology is so hard to maintain at some points in time that trading any of it for any kind of obtainable object on the planet just doesn't make any sense. The creator points are the only ones that really make, you know, some decent kind of trade, because you get creator points off of your nuggets and you don't have to actually produce it. So, you know, if I traded 53 of my CP, I would get 30 stone. And don't let the names fool you, because you're not getting like a Niagara Falls model or anything to plop on a lake, which would be awesome, but you just get 62 stone in your inventory. You know, with this one you get 26 food for 62 CP, which, I don't know, you know, 2 CP for a single piece of food isn't too bad. And this one is a blizzard for 40 stone, and the blizzard is gonna freeze up your lakes and your pumps again, and it'll freeze some of your nuggets if you don't get them in bunkers. And it might be worth it to you if you're really strapped for stone, which I kind of am right now, actually, just looking at it. But I'll just show one for example. And if you were to buy all of these, the Ike the Egg there would see more of you in favor. Like he would be friendly, and then you would get a better discount, which is that percentage right there is whatever he offers the discount. So if you get him on your bad side by, say, ordering an item, say, you know, just order stone for the sake of it, and we'll confirm order. Now, the next time this UFO comes to Earth and goes back, it'll have your order. And if you decline it, then you'll get into his bad favor. You'll have a negative effect on that, where his prices will be even higher. So you got to assume that 30 stone would be maybe 70 CP or up to like 100 CP, which is a total ripoff. So that's basically all I'm going to say about the black market, because that's pretty much all I really understand of it. And I don't use it at all. It's just never, you know, it was kind of a cute little thing to put in, but it wasn't something that I think many people utilize, because the expense of an ecology for a chunk of stone is just ridiculous. And if you do actually invest in this, eventually you're just trading nuggets for resources. That's all they want in the future. They just want your nuggets. So, you know, 100 nuggets for a few chemicals doesn't make for a very good deal either. So if you want to try and use it, by all means, but I'd stay away from it. I don't see the actual worth in it. Each to their own though, right? So for the rest of this, we're just going to try and make sure that we've got everything we can that's going to help us in the medieval age upgraded before we even go into the medieval age. So that way we're not scrambling to have an upkeep of prepared meals. We have enough storage right now. The stone mine needs to get working a little bit better, and we should have enough laborers to do all that within the, what do you say, probably half an hour it's going to take us to get to the two-door age. The two-door upgrade itself is 20 minutes, and as I said, I'm taking my time with the electricity, and I'm just going to get the battery and start filling a bunch of batteries up with electricity, so that way as soon as we get into medieval, we're laughing. We don't need any kind of assistance right off the bat. You don't need to zap your batteries or anything. And we're going to go with kinetic generation, which takes a laborer nugget to produce power. But I'll show you how I found at least the most effective way. It still takes a hell of a lot of nuggets to produce a lot of power in modern age, but it's not as hard as it sounds. After a little bit of practice and I think some decent placement. I'll show you what I mean when I get there. But for the moment, we're just making sure that all our eateries are upgraded, all the cemeteries, and especially with the workers. I have no town hall on this one, and it's all manual assignment. So the way I've been controlling that is basically making sure that on the first page of this list, it's sorted by how many workers we have in production. So I know that this engineers and this stone mine need nuggets. So because I have 28 nuggets, I'm only going to assign 3 to the stone mine. We do need 4, because we do need quite a bit of stone right now. The backlog is at 511. But we're evening out on bricks. So it's not a major deal that we're so far behind here, because eventually we're just going to catch up. And then the other one we were missing was the engineers here. So I could just auto assign one into a slot by pressing this plus, but usually I like going to each individual building and hand picking them. So I'm not going to get a lazy one here, and he's not a believer. Pretty good in health and stats, but he's pretty weak too, right? So weak and lazy isn't the best choice for an engineer. Sometimes if I really want the best candidate, I'll sort by strength, because engineers inherently become the strongest nuggets in the world. You know, every engineer has a gun show going on. But I'll sort down the list a bit farther and look at what other kind of laborers I can put in the position there. And this one's hermetic, so it mates half as often, which I'm not gonna fault him for. I get it. And he's already got a job. No, there. So we'll assign any nugget with decent traits, generally a believer as well, sometimes helps. And if you can find the workaholics, those are probably the best ones in the game as far as it sounds for stats. You know, they work their asses off, and we thank them for it. They have to compensate for all the weak and lazy ones that are out there. Now, as always, we're keeping an eye on our crime as well. It seems pretty high because of kind of throwing a lot at them. But I am building a few parks out here, I think, and those should counteract any of the crime that we're experiencing. Yeah, so once this Cubidon's built, right over here, that'll help quite a bit. And like last time, basically what I was saying is that there's going to be a lot of times, if you are playing through this, that you just seem to like sit there and just wait for everything to happen. And although you can do that as a choice, you can always be active about it too, where it kind of keeps you a little less bored, you know? Find places where you can throw trees in and help them out with some of the basic building blocks. You know, just a rock or stone here, and a couple trees and shrubs here, and that'll make their progress go a lot faster, and you're not just sitting there and watching the screen. You know, at least you're doing something. Feels like you're actually sort of part of the game, right? And I think a lot of people, their goal is to have have houses that they're not throwing trees on. That's not what I meant to say, but what I demonstrated. I think, going back to it, I think the whole goal is basically having an autonomous planet, right? Autonomous planet, where you don't have to do anything, right? You just set up and kind of watch the world grow, which would be pretty cool just as like a screensaver, but not really as a game. You know, most games are meant to challenge you, and this one tries to hold your hand in some sense because they don't want to lose you, you know? There you go. Best way to solve a riot is an orgy. So as we're waiting for these guys to kind of keep going on, if there's nothing I can fill up and I don't want to waste points, I can always cruise around the planet and look for space boxes. But generally I try and stay sort of focused on them and help them as they spread, so we're not overwhelming any of them with too much work. Because they really want to build these houses, and the Holy Ground power has been a really helpful tool for actually getting them to build where you want, instead of just these random spots all over the place. Not to say that they don't build in random spots anymore, you know, it's still a common thing, but at least you can kind of predict where they're going to be building next. So hopefully if I just keep feeding everything around me all the supplies that they need, you know, it's going to take a lot less nuggets to actually come by and build them. And I do have a theory about engineers that I would like to try on another, maybe separate run through. That it's like, what if you were to put 4 engineers' huts in one single area? Would all the surrounding area within the area effect be built 4 times as fast, or would it just be sort of a semi-rate, you know? It's something that I'd like to experiment with, because I would like to see if the engineers actually have a building power, at least, as opposed to just the fixing power. And we're in an earthquake now, and this earthquake is going to bring forth a volcano, possibly. And volcanoes are kind of a force to be reckoned with in real life, but in this, it's just they might screw up a warehouse and an engineer's hut. I'd actually like to see them kind of up it a bit, where, you know, it can cause like forest fires as these molten balls of rock jump out and everything. I think it'd be cool, and it'd be a nice little touch to it, because yeah, it seems like they've nerfed that one just a little bit too much. Let's put a flaming hot eatery up here. See if we can get away with that for a little while. I don't mind taking my chances. Famous last words. It looks like they're doing pretty well over here with a little bit of intervention, so I'll do a little bit more. Sit them down and intervene, talk about their rock problem. Yeah, that's not where you want to put them, unless you want them to store, pick from there. I'm going to drop them right onto the construction site. I'm sure everybody knew that already, though. So if I can get this area built up pretty quick, then I'm going to start going up here just to populate this, maybe with, I don't know, well, it's going to have to be the cemetery and something else, but I wasn't looking at factory land over there. Thinking this could be factory land right next to these guys, so we can like pollute them a bit, or they can send their tornadoes at me. We'll be setting up barracks up there eventually once we unlock them. But for the time being, yeah, I might. I'll just get rid of this for now. How long is this to take? 10 minutes. The root of the problem. And then, so I'm going to unlock this and place the ecology, or the expedition center down. Because I can't get to the electricity quest if I don't do this one first. And like I said at the beginning of the last stream, that I'm going to try and do all the quests throughout this, if I can 100% them. Except for the last exhibitionist, because you don't really need to figure that one out. But I will try and get as many of the quests done as possible, just to show you how I do them. Because the later game ones, some of them are like really confusing and sort of misleading in the description, where not a lot of people know what the hell they're doing with them. It took me a long time to figure out too. But that's what we do, right? You like a game, you spend time on it, you learn about it. And as we've all seen with the hundreds of thousands of streamers that are on here and all the other platforms, like, people are getting really, really good at video games these days. The competition is pretty incredible. I just want to go to space. That's all I want to do on this one. Just send me to space. As I keep building this entire thing up, they're just going to start building their residences around it. And I just got to make sure that every little area that I have has all the basic essential areas. The water, the food, a little bit of security and defense there. And if we can keep recreating the same little village over and over again, then by the time we get on the other side of the planet, you know, we're going to have nuggets living over here just the same, where they're not all going to be smashed into this one chunk of land where it takes them like 4 hours to get over here and then do their task and then go back home. And speaking of that, we don't have holy ground really established, so what I'm going to do is start sending them southbound Suarez right now. And start getting them down this way. Nope. Everything looks the same in the winter. I could start getting them to move in over here. That's the farthest point away that I can see that there aren't any other residences. So if we can start the population down this way and spread over here, this is a pretty good building land for rockets and factories and stuff as well. And that way all the workers at those factories don't have to go you know, for a 7-hour journey every time they go to their house or their work. That is a theory anyways. I haven't confirmed that proximity has anything to do with jobs, especially because I'm manually selecting. So who knows, right? It'd be wise of them to move houses if they got a new job. I mean, you do that in real life, so why wouldn't you do it in game life, right? But it's all speculation and it's still just early access. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what the final result of this thing is. As long as it's some form of space and some like kind of different planet and different material to use, and there's a lot of potential. And we're just all have to just being patient and waiting for it. You know, good things take time, so I don't mind waiting for this. I'm looking forward to the update next week as well with the larger planets. I'm gonna try and do, you know, a quick run and see how fast we can populate the entire planet. Or how well we can populate it. I guess the speed really doesn't matter, you know? You get there, you get there. But the point of this run is just to show you, you know, going through the phases of how to do things. And I don't want to go say, you know, make sure you research everything as fast as possible, because I don't think that's the best way to go about any of it. Yeah, it didn't look very infected, did it? So what's up with my cemetery over here? Ah, that'll do it. Gonna be one of those finicky spots again. You can feel it. Oh, there we go. That's way off the beaten path. There we go. Sacrifice that one cross section of road for another cemetery that gives you pretty decent coverage over here. And X-nay these gnarly looking roads. Another restaurant. Another storage spot. And although we don't need the storage now, there might be a point in time where, you know, we're struggling to find open spots even with 900. So I'd rather just future-proof it. Okay, so Expedition Camp is finally available. I'm gonna go plop that on that spot there, complete that quest. Good stuff. So now the next one will be the electricity quest that pops up. So let's get, yeah, okay, gotcha. Thanks, cool. Appreciate it. Now electricity should pop up. It did last time, at least. Maybe not. Not to worry. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's popping up, so if I build a battery, there's a potential that it'll just complete the quest. Maybe. See, I've done these things like 100 times now, and sometimes I'm still scratching my head on like how it happens, you know? Yeah, let's go get a couple plumes of smoke over here. And then once we get this battery built, then we'll go into the kinetic energy there. Start building up a bunch of mouse wheels for everybody. Okay. And kinetic energy, because that is the most challenging one. And we're going to up their movement speed a bit just to compensate for that as well. Let's upgrade the engineers. Give them clothes. And there we go. Now once the expedition camp is built, I'll start sending some nugs down there to collect discovery points. Because we're going to need about, I don't know, 500 or so just to get through all the upgrades. It sounds like a lot, but if you send them in little batches at a time, over the course of, you know, say 100 years or so, 200 years, then it works out where, you know, they're not down there for that long, you don't lose them for too long, and you can keep gaining a little bit of passive DP as well from the schools. The schools are at 10, yeah, so 5. I have 5 schools, is that what you're saying there? I think so. No, I have 3 schools, so the 5 doesn't really mean a lot to me right now. Like I'm creating 5 a minute based on, I don't know. Anyways, you need schools for DP passive points as well. And plus, you know, you want them educated anyways. So it's good to have. I try to go for at least 6 of them, and then that way, even if you have a little downfall in intelligent civilization, you can always kind of count on upgrading to the university, and they'll catch up eventually. Just got to give them some time. Okay, so now that the kinetic generators are done as well, I'm gonna start getting into this, and everybody's got a different way to do this, and whatever works is totally cool. The way I found to be most effective is put them right near busy roads. That way, you know, as the nuggets die that are working there, you'd hope that another passerby auto-fills in his job. And I only put a few in each area. I try and spread them out everywhere. That way, you know, again, if a nugget is walking too far for something, they're going to get drained, and they need the maximum amount of stamina for this. So, I mean, in reality, I'd like to put them more near residential areas anyways, because, you know, if they can just wake up and go to work, all the better. It's like living above the bar as a bartender, right? You know, you just kind of do your thing and then go upstairs and do your other thing. We'll check on how many buildings we're getting made right now. Two, three. Okay, so we're at 6 pages worth of things that they're working on right now. And I have 41 laborers, which isn't too bad. But I think we're going to do the whole Mate Festa thing again, just to keep getting more laborers in there. And the one thing we're going to bomb it towards as soon as we get into the medieval age is the Courier's hut. Because once you get those, I think each one of these nuggets individually can carry 7 items, or 7, you know, 7 food, 7 stone, or whatever it is. And the Couriers can carry 37 a piece. So it's really worth getting them, because they speed up all the delivery progress. And we're under attack. Alright, where's it coming from this time? Oh, my defense tower is doing its defensey job. Okay, we're getting knocked off from somewhere. Where else are they? Alright, looks like we're clear. Good job, guys. I'm glad I'm paying you the big bucks there. Alright, get this eatery full up and upgrade it as well. We want to get 2 cooks in every eatery as soon as possible to compensate for that dwindling prepared food number here. engineers, 2 slots. That's pretty good for at least the beginning of the medieval age. I'm not going to go around and upgrade all of them until I have pretty much a vast amount of resources on everything. But we have to start looking at glass as well pretty soon, because we're going to need that for a multitude of things, and batteries being one of the major ones. So the thing about glass is it does need gas as the source of its fuel, and it's always nice to put it like right next to a gas mine where it makes the delivery of it just that much faster. So maybe we, nope, not a chance. And the next desert is, do we even have another desert? Okay. Well, oil and gas might be a little tougher on this one than I previously anticipated. Not to worry though, we'll figure it out. Do a scan around just to see if it, deserts do yield the most, but every once in a while you can get some out of mountainsides, and I got 1600 over here, which isn't too bad. And not great, but okay. So if I was going to build anywhere, I'd probably build down here, and that's perfect. Look at that. Got some pretty killer veins right there. Let's make sure we're prepping for this before we actually get out there with the engineers' huts, the water, the food, all the stuff I keep repeating. Yeah, because they're ready to move in. They just kind of need the infrastructure around them, which we will happily provide. And I'm going to move it over here because I kind of want to build that glass factory right there. At least the first one. I'm going to try and go for 2. I'm going to get rid of that ugly little road over here. I'm going to prioritize this one and just pause this one. So as soon as this one's done, then I'll get on the other one, and it saves them trying to do double resources, I guess, and especially because it's so far away. But on the plus side is, because we're in the medieval, or the Stone Age still, we can just keep throwing trees at them and throwing rocks at them, and they'll build their houses. And it gets to that slight level of complexity up on the next level where you have to store the planks and the bricks into a warehouse, and then from the warehouse you can telekinesis them onto the job site. But the trees and the stone one, just so much easier. There's quite a few residential over here. And Holy Ground really did its job. We'll do like, again, it's going to be another little village. And that's what I'm trying for across the entire planet. Instead of having one really densely populated center core of this thing, I'd rather have just little villages thrown all across the planet, where it makes getting resources and getting to jobs easier because everything's sort of evenly spread out. And we're going to give them cars pretty soon too, with the carriage house, which will be taking up a lot of oil and a lot of resources, but worth showing how that kind of works and how to balance it. I mean, if I had any suggestion, I just probably wouldn't use cars in the medieval age, but because they exist, I will try and show how it actually works and kind of the best way to go about it without running out of resources too fast. Alright, sweet. There we go. So that's going to help them out quite a bit for all their building projects down here. Now we just need laborers to get over here and start whacking hammers. And we need better supplies over this way as well, just for the glass factories. And that all got built with time. At least the residences will be built up pretty fast as soon as I get laborers over here. Maybe we'll throw in a little movie theater or something, you know, keep them a little happier over here. How about this? Have we unlocked? Haven't even unlocked it yet, so you guys get a park. Here you go. Enjoy your park next to your defense tower. Does it feel like you're being watched? Because you are. Alright, I like those workaholics, so keep hiring those guys. Fire station, great to have. Got 43 laborers right now. Let's get a couple more on the go. See, you look like good stock. Come here. There you go. Yeah, pretty fast. Okay, we just want a single firefighter nugget in each of these because the fires are so rare that you don't really need two guys sitting around doing nothing all day. But once we see a firestorm, we'll populate all the fire stations and have them at full capacity. And that'll definitely help with the lack of CP, still fighting an entire planet-wide forest fire. Those suck. There we go, we got 39 educated nuggets, which is not too bad for this time frame. The name of the game right now is still just keep it on. Just keep getting your numbers up. You want to have a good stockpile of nuggets before you get into medieval. That way they can all attack the modernizing of their houses. Or the medievaling of their houses, I guess I should say. Yeah, we're still waiting on kinetics to be built. I have overloaded them quite a bit. Because I have faith that they'll get this stuff done eventually. I do have to stop overloading them with so much stuff though. It's irresponsible. I think that's a big part of a lot of people have trouble with just stop creating stuff for a second, you know? Stop, let it sit, let them build and get their balance on, because the less people that are delivering stuff to jobs, the more people are prone to going for entertainment and for food and for getting some. So the less you have to do, the more they're just going to make kids, and it's going to be a perpetual thing of, you know, like, what do you do? Well, just make kids because we got nothing else to do. It's good to stop every once in a while, let them catch up on their building. And with like 6 pages of instruction to take care of right now. Okay, 5 pages, not bad. Knocking it down a little. Let's get them down to like 3 pages before we start putting anything else on the planet for them. And by that time, let's just kind of do all the research that we didn't really give a crap about before. Should help a bit. I always forget to unlock fishing. That's one thing I know it does help, especially early on. For a lot of people, that's their first food source. But with the farms, and the way I showed you in the first one, how to get to farm and agriculture within the first 15 years, you know, you don't really need the fishing huts that much. They're only active for half the year. Once you modernize all the farms, though, all the farms are 365 in the modern age. They don't shut down during the winter. What do you want? Who are you gonna abduct? Got your eye on somebody, don't you? What are you doing, man? I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You already took one. Yeah, fine. See, now, if I knock you down, will you give me my nugget back? What if I say please? Okay, so this is gonna take him a second to get over here. This way. Oh, locust swarm invasion, sweet. Two quick and easy ways to deal with them is fire and lightning. Lightning will hit the nuggets underneath, whereas fire will just dissipate them where they are. Wait for a couple more CP. We'll toast these buggers. And I missed. Went right through them. Well, that's why we have fire stations, folks. Hopefully I got a fire station at least. Yeah, there's one there. Let's get another nuggy working there. Well, they're pretty efficient with it. Here they come. Where they going, to a warehouse with no food in it? Yeah, be my guest. What food source are you taking from, guys? You take it from here? Nope. Still moving on. I don't even know where they're picking. Are they going to a farm? Want my herbs? Want my dead bodies? What are you doing? You are the most confused locust swarm I think I've ever seen. You're going out to sea? Or you're following the road? Okay, that's new. Didn't think they would abide by traffic laws and stuff, but there you go. Okay. Oh, cool. Good for you guys. Have a good journey. I'm not gonna waste CP if you're just gonna boot around the planet. But usually, if you don't miss, the fire works pretty good. I don't trust him particularly, though. I got a feeling they'll be coming back. How about you guys get them? Yeah, just swat them down with your spears. Exactly how spears work, right? Or just run from it. That's cool, too. Did you eat that food? Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really that dangerous of a event. I'm sure they'll get some food from somewhere. See, the wolves are a greater concern. By all means. I'm gonna play with fire and try and burn him one more time. Okay. Here? There, thank you. Now they're fireflies. Alright, now where are these wolves? Let's see. Garrisons might be doing a good enough job that I don't really need to worry about that right now. I'm hoping so anyways. And our food production isn't doing terrible. And once these eateries are all double cooked, then we shouldn't have too many problems over there either. Let's hunt down the eateries over here. Not many upgraded yet, as you can see. That single one that eluded me there. So as they upgrade, I'll just keep assigning 2 to each one, and that'll help a lot with all the prep meals. I'd like to say effectively doubles it, but I don't know. I should have been paying more attention. Wild animals, got a bunch of them. Never mind that, that was the fire. I think... Yeah, I think they got the rest of the wolves. Okay, and our glass factory's up and running. We have 100 gas, which not good by any standard. So instead of taking all the gas immediately, we'll just kind of trickle it in. Okay, Broken Heart is a pretty easy quest. Just somebody cheated on somebody else. So you gotta find, just gonna read the name, right? Sumba? Can't get away with this. So, exact vengeance on Kasumba. And the easiest way to do that, maybe, unless they're in exile already. Kasumba. Type it in the nugget search bar and go to the nugget itself. There we go. And pick her up. And say, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you know? Not in this religion. There we go. We sacrificed you for a Chunder Chain Park. Okay, and these wind worshippers are angry. So they might chuck a couple tornadoes at us. We will find that out in about 7 minutes. And if we do, we'll just throw up a bunch of protective domes and hopefully deflect it right back in their faces. That's if they target us. I don't particularly get how they built the last thing placed in this area first. Maybe because of the prioritize? But I'm not quite sure. I don't understand nuggets a lot of the time. Even at a tutorial level, you know, don't think too deep about them because even when you think you got it, you probably don't have all of it. Kind of my favorite part about the game is there's always something to learn. You know, I by no means think I know all there is to know about this. I just like playing it, and I like seeing people play it and enjoy it, and not get so confused that they don't want to play it anymore. Okay, let's check our build menu again. Any of the other eateries ready? Nope. Anything ready? Let's see. Like 3 more knocked off from the last time we checked. These residentials, sometimes I know in past versions they've kind of glitched out if there's too many materials for them to clear in a residential area. But the ones that they placed over there was no impedance, so I'm not really sure why it's taken as long as it has to actually get these guys up and running. It looks like we got the nuggets for it. But we can always add more. I try and pick, if I want to make them mate quickly, I try and pick them closer to like the middle of the city. Because if you pick a nugget that's like a solo nugget way far away from there, it's going to take forever for them to find their mate. And yeah, you want them knocking out kids pretty quick, I think. Oh, waste a few more points on that. All good to go. So I'd like to do at least 50 years in medieval on this run through. But like I said before, there's no rush in getting into the next stage. You know, if you aren't ready with your supplies, then just like don't jump into it, you know? You don't need to make your life miserable in the future just for the sake of a few years on a chart. You know, it doesn't matter how long it takes for you to get there. Kind of matters more of like, you know, how smooth you can transition from Stone Age into Medieval Age, because that again carries over into Modern Age. Because I see a lot of people, they'll go from, you know, it's not that long of a jump from getting from your Tudor architecture to industrialization. You know, maybe an hour and a bit. So instead of making it a flat hour, you know, take an hour and a half, take 2 hours, or however long it takes for you to get through the entire thing. If you're speedrunning, obviously it's a different story. Oh, sweet, we're getting targeted. Alright. So first, close that down, slow time down a bit, and we're going to try and block this guy. And he's going to bounce over there, which is a pretty good path for him to go. Hopefully it goes up the mountain. But we'll see. Tornadoes are very unpredictable. They can change at any point in time. One tip is don't try and trap the tornado in the dome anymore, because the tornado will just transport over to somewhere else on the map, and it sucks because you can't predict it. So you could actually be putting it farther into your developed city if you trap it in the dome. It's better just to bump it and nudge it every once in a while. Like, go that way. Go back towards the people that sent you here. Yeah, you're that way, but you're not gonna make it that far. No way. Cut down my trees, man. What are we doing on trees? 15,000 out of 16. Don't kill the whale, man. I'm gonna take that whale before you kill him. He's better food than he is tornado bait. Alright, I think it's on a pretty good trajectory. We don't have to really worry about it anymore. Should dissipate in the next minute or so. So the calendar would be useful as well in predicting where the events are going to happen. It does let you know, and we're researching that. We have researched that, so might as well build a forecast tower. Doesn't have to go anywhere in particular. No matter where it is, it's going to monitor the same thing. You'll just get your little bar up top there a little bit more expanded. I do like to put it a little closer to the center of town for no reason in particular. Okay. 38 laborers coming up. Not bad. Glass is slowly starting to trickle in. We need to get these kinetic generators done any time now. Let's see the progress on these as well. If I get the kinetics done, then I can start making the power, and as soon as we start making power, then we can go into medieval. But I don't want to be scrambling to make power as the houses that they're building demand it. Okay, that's good progress. That's good to see. A little bit more of a structure up there. And this is where Courier's huts really come in handy. If you had a Courier's hut over here, I feel like it would have been built by now, but we do not yet, because we're still working up to it. But after fishing, look at the fishing hut upgrade, so we can go right into that instead of the Stone Age one. Get recreation to make them a little happier. Once the expedition camp is done, we'll start going down there to try and unlock these DPs. And then by that time, we'll go into Tudor. I think it'll all work out where basically as we're ready to start going into the Tudor age, we'll have some energy built up. And the first thing I'm going to do with the glass is build a couple more batteries as well, because 1 full battery is nice, but 3 is much better. So sometimes you'll get worlds that have wide open spaces with none of these narrow gaps, and it makes it a lot easier for your initial city to spread out. But even if it does, you know, you can kind of still keep building through those gaps, and they'll find a way. You know, generally it's not the stupidest path they can think of. Like, they could go around this way to get over here, but I think some of the pathfinding is being updated to a point where I actually trust it now. Sometimes. I don't want to eat those words. And anytime I want to expand in any direction, I'll start with the engineers and the water reservoir. We gotta keep an eye on our water as well, because yeah, we're not doing great. We're at minus 300, and we only have 308, 309 stored, because I haven't been paying too much attention to the pumps, which isn't ideal for this winter. But we'll see how we're looking on each of these lakes. And these look like they could be upgraded as well. There's still a hold. We'll prioritize these upgrades. And odds are, if winter hits and we're still getting desperate, is I'll just sacrifice a few nuggets in order to get to the season change again. And by next winter, then we should have everything up and running again and keep balancing that out. Kind of that balancing act everywhere you go, really. With food, with water. With how much you're building at any given point in time. And it may look like I'm putting a lot of strain on them right now, and it's because I am. Right, keep the mating going. Keep getting them to have as many kids as we can. See if we can get up to 200 before medieval. That'd be a pretty decent number. And there does come a point in time where your population is going to exceed the amount of capacity that Stone Age reservoirs and eateries can contain. So you want to not wait too long in medieval age, or in Stone Age, sorry, to get to the next era, because you'll be struggling because they won't be able to keep up with the amount of population. I'm having that issue kind of with the food right now and with the water. Because I cannot upgrade any of these until I go into Tudor Age and then unlock it. Not these, but water pumps, sorry. Oh, we'll do another infected area check, make sure that nothing's going to happen or they haven't died outside the realm of the cemeteries, which is good. Yeah, the education rate isn't great yet. And how am I doing on wood? I need this open. I'm going to assign all on that one. Leaving me 44. I'll try and catch up to the bricks. Try and keep these as even as I can throughout the entire thing, because it seems like you need sort of the same amount Or at least it feels useful to have. Okay. Yeah, slowly but surely they're upgrading the eateries, which is very nice. Do a double check on how many more they've upgraded at this point in time. That one. Just that one. That's it. That's cool. No, no, I was wrong. Okay. That'll definitely help with production. Now we only have a few more to actually upgrade. And hopefully that number changes pretty drastic. So to be comfortable going into winter, I would want at least 600 accumulated, which I'm not going to actually achieve by winter on this one because slow on the uptake on this, which is fine. But generally, if you have double the amount of water in your reservoirs that you are consuming, then you never have to use that really super expensive season change power. Although it does look pretty cool. Alright, how you guys doing? Stone's a little laggy. 286 needed, 254. Yeah, you know what? I'll always need more stone. And again, that slows them down a little bit on labor, but I'm not all that worried about it right now. We're producing everything that is available for us. So as long as we have a little bit of a head start, especially on oil and gas, then we should be able to go into this pretty smooth. Once I get the planks and the bricks sorted out, where it's, you know, I only need, you know, a few required for construction, and then I'm gaining a surplus, that would be a really good time to go into the Tudor age, because we'll know that everything that needs that resource is already done. You know, it's not going to require more of that once they start building all their houses. And I'd like to have them have all their residences built. No, they're just doing this anyways because I didn't place holy ground, so they're spreading out and up and into here. Good for them. Why don't you go down here though? I would rather holy ground and start moving towards this area. But yeah, it's looking like everything else is sort of done. Our main line is getting full. You're starting to see quite a few nuggets running through there. These are actually slowly getting constructed. I can help out a little bit. Happy to help when I can. And it's nice to do this now in the early age because you really don't get to do much of this in the next little bits. You know, they're basically going to be self-sufficient. Once you set them up to thrive, you really don't have to touch them too much. You know, every once in a while, you'll get an infected zone and you just put a cemetery down, or you know, hire another engineer for an area that's failing. But it's worth putting in the effort of just kind of getting everything balanced in the earliest age, and then that way, as you go through it, you know, everything kind of gets easier. Because if any of you have watched, you know, basically any streams, you'll realize that you can train wreck in a hurry on this. And as fun as it is to watch, you know, I don't think that was the intent of the game developers to actually have everybody fail at it. You know, they want you to succeed too. It's just as they're working on it, I don't think they've got their tutorials really spot on yet. You know, there's a lot of people that are just like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, where do I go with this package? And hopefully I can show you that relatively soon as well. As one of the most confusing quests is when we place the Courier's hut. And that's going to be right after we get into the Tudor architecture. We'll get our couriers, and I'll show you how to do that quest. Because if there was a quest I had to take a poll for of how many times people have failed it, the courier quest is like the number one. Because they just don't really describe what they need you to do. I'll show you though. I got no problem with that. Alright, everything's coming along. We might not struggle too hard through winter. I would prefer to have a little bit more water than just double our consumption, but you know what? I can live with that. I'm gonna have to, unless I want to sacrifice nuggets and then get 400 CP and change winter into spring again. But for now, we'll watch. We'll see. If we run out of water, you know, it won't be for that long. It'll probably be when the ice is thawing again. That's gonna be like the skin of our teeth moment, I think. Okay. So that being said, that is all the main research that we can do. Except for government, because fuck the government. Not gonna go that route. You know what? Let's go with it. And hopefully in the next 20 minutes, by the time this is done, or it'll be, 15 minutes because of the fast forward, we will be getting into medieval age, and then we'll be kicking off from there. My only problem right now is that kinetic energy is nowhere near where we need it to be, because it's at 0. So we gotta light a fire under their asses for their kinetic generators here. Yeah, they haven't even touched any of them. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Okay, well, starting to slack quite a bit on the planks and bricks. We'll check our refineries and start filling these if there's any blank spots. So I got a stone refinery that's probably paused, maybe. Yes. We'll get that built, help them out here. Grow a bunch of trees and rocks, because beauty of stone refineries, they don't need bricks or planks. And it would suck if they did, because you wouldn't be able to build them. That chicken and an egg thing, right? Okay, winter's here. And we have 17 minutes, and I think winter lasts about 15 minutes. So, yeah, this is a total skin of our teeth kind of season right now. But we'll make it. We'll make it. Okay. Get these nuggies. How many rocks do I need? 21? Alright, let me see if I can snipe this. Get it right at the 21 mark. If you look in the bottom left there, it tells you how many you're picking up. Yeah, 20 and 2. Alright, I can deal with that. Yeah. 1 nugget can get it. Alright, we got a tornado coming up. Nowhere near us. No problem. I got nothing. Well, if you veer off this way suddenly, then we have a problem. But don't think, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna redirect it so it doesn't have a real chance of going anywhere around us. There you go. Go back from where you came from. Okay, another eatery's done. And engineers is up as well. Good. Okay, let's get these guys both assigned. Hopefully they can help with the rest of the construction. I don't really know if they do, but that's what it says in some of the tips. It's really hard to actually confirm or deny it, though. It could just be one of those troll tips. Yeah, that stone refinery is doing all right. Wood refinery, I'm gonna actually just need to put another one down, and we're gonna play catch up with the rest of this. I'm running out of trees here, so it would make more sense to go into a slightly more forested area that's all built up. Which looks like it's pretty good over here. Except for the whole, taking forever to build over there part. There we go. That'd be a decent spot for it. Let's help him out with that one as well. All right. Just want to try something. So I'm at 0 wood right now, right? You know, it's all being taken. It's all being used. I'm just wondering if I do bowling with trees, that number change to 8. Okay, it does change. So we can basically help them chop down trees with trees, if you're so inclined. And we need 21 stone again. Good enough. 25. Okay, so that one should get built pretty fast, which we need because we're almost about to hit a major plank shortage. Gas seems to be holding steady. Oil's just at 100 because I haven't upgraded my warehouses yet, so they won't actually store any of the materials without being upgraded, which kind of sucks. But it's okay because we don't really need oil until it'll give us a chance to actually collect quite a bit more until we actually need it. The gas, you know, and the glass factory, we're going to need a crap ton more for the future as well. They're just building everywhere though, aren't they? All right, our first mouse wheel. I'm going to go with somebody with a lot of stamina. He's running from me. That's how much stamina he has. Or she has. Let's see if we got any others up. Now that we're making power, it's going to be a pretty good time. So we still got 13 minutes, 10 minutes with a fast forward. By that time, hopefully, a few more of these are constructed, and we should have a little bit of power in the bank as well. If not, I can always use electricity and charge the batteries until we actually catch up with it. So I'm not overly worried about it. We have the infrastructure set up to deal with medieval age. Why don't we have an engineer over here? Because, yeah, I built one. I didn't hire anybody, though. Yeah, cemetery is definitely going to be necessary there sooner than later. And my stone refinery, I don't know. I seem to be holding pretty steady on that. 32 laborers. Yeah, I can afford 10% of that workforce to go to stone. For now. And I'll just keep an eye on it, as always, and if it keeps dropping, then I'll get on more of it. Hopefully that wood refinery's up sooner than later, too. That would be nice. Yep, looks like they're about ready to get that going. Perfect. And then we got to start looking at building more farms and everything as well, because with the population numbers going up quite a bit, we're going to get hungry pretty fast. And hiring the farmers as well is super useful. That's an herb farm, so I only have 4 farms out of this whole thing, which would make sense why I'm running out of food. You know, we're looking at, like, if you want like a really sustainable city, you know, you gotta have farms basically every little nook and cranny that they'll fit. Yeah. Farm right next to a cemetery. What could possibly go wrong? Actually, you know, something would probably go right. You know, the fertilizer would be awesome. Okay. And that is because that cemetery isn't done yet. Yeah, those demands are rejected. And that engineer's hut? Where's the engineers? Where are you? Oh, really? Replace an engineer for that one house? Nah. Maybe it was a fluke. We'll see. Alright. Let's feed them a bit more of our basic material here. Get these houses built so they can just get them out of the way. Wasn't worth it, was it? Because it's only 5 and 5. Yeah, so I don't really want to waste a ton of Cupidon points on just houses. So I won't. Just do what's necessary. The bare minimum. 5 rocks. That's a pretty big size rock there. Yeah, that's 5 rock there. And there's another 5 rock. Couple more trees. And we should be good on this area. We should be able to build that a little faster now. Okay. So we've kind of covered off from our starting area. We've gotten all the way to the lake we were aiming for at the beginning of the game. And what have we done with it? Nothing. There's not a single pump on here yet. So let's get a couple pumps going. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to prioritize a couple of them because we only got 308 up. I'd love to have, at almost any given time past Stone Age, having 1,000 up. And that way we got no worries ever about water, and you can keep an eye on it relatively easy instead of just wondering what number it is. It's like if it's not 1,000, it's not good enough. But we have to build up to that, you know, and that's going to take a little bit longer. I mean, give us a break, you know, 211 nuggets. You don't need 1,000 up. We're consuming 360. So effectively, I'd like to have 700 by the end of the autumn season before the lakes freeze, and then we'll make it through winter again. Yeah, that doubling up thing has been my best guideline, or best way to put it, where as long as you have double your consumption, then you shouldn't run out of water when all the lakes are frozen. Okay, so this one sucks because it's just a waste of points. And the only way I would suggest to do it at some point in time is basically if you've already saved up all the points that you have, because what it takes is you're going to have to go season change, and it's going to be 300 into the winter, and then once you get into the winter, you're going to want to do another 400. It says 700 right now, but once you're in winter, it only costs 400 to get to spring. So 700 in total to get back to spring. So if you have an abundant amount of CP, I would suggest you do this mission or this quest. And if you don't, unless you need it just for that first time, if you're doing a 100% quest run through, go for it. But if you're not doing the 100%, if you've already done this once, I would only do this mission once and then never do it again, because it's just a CP killer. And I could start sacrificing nugs and all that good fun stuff just to get it done, but yeah, honestly not worth it. The only time it's worth it is if you're going for the full run through so you can unlock Coffin Dodger, which I do recommend, because Coffin Dodger is a pretty awesome playthrough too, where, you know, when the nugs get sick, they keep dying and dying over and over again if they have Coffin Dodger trait. Then eventually they just turn into zombies, and then they start biting people and spreading disease. It's a fun run for sure, especially if you don't have defenses built up. Then it's extra fun because you're doing all the damn work yourself. Okay, let's see how many kinetics we're at. Another one up. Sweet. Let's get a couple more prioritized. Okay, so we're in the Tudor age now. First thing we're going to go is upgrade our water because we have the points for it. And then we're going to get the water upgrade for the reservoirs, couriers, into the barracks. And that way, we're going to start going up this ladder as well. And then we're going to go across this way into the carriage houses and domestication. We'll actually be at industrial age before you know it, which is kind of weird. The medieval age seems to go relatively fast. But I think we're all ready for it now. As you can see, I'm producing power. I have a little bit of everything except for the new medieval ones. And we have to upgrade some of these in order to actually get to the gas storage and the new modern material storage as well. Just to double check that I'm not just spewing bullshit here. Let's see. So I have one upgraded here. No, that's not the one. I have one upgraded over here. Okay, so this one will store all this. So you don't need medieval age warehouses in order to store gas and glass, which is good. Which makes a lot of sense, because if you can produce it, you know, you should have the capacity to store it. But as you can see, you know, there's no electronics or fuel or anything like that, or the chemicals or steel beams, because these warehouses have to be upgraded to a modern warehouse in order to store modern supplies, which makes sense. Why are you guys so sad? Because you don't have a single store. That's it. I know. I am a terrible god for not giving you a cosmetics or a lizard lick candy. And now you got two. Praise be. Get those guys out of the way fast so they get a little happier. They can be a little bit more productive, because right now they're fucking miserable. And yeah, their injury chances all up. And crying me rivers all over the place here. Need it? Alright. Oh, that was like the tiniest stone ever. 1. Yeah. And 5. 10. And 15. Wood. Get that going in here. Oh, did I just drop it on it? Nope, nope. That was the one. Sweet. Alright, well, looks like this hair saloon's gonna win it. Okay, we're starting to build the first of the medieval houses. Each one of these guys takes 1 power and 1 water. So these are the first things that we're going to need power for, right? And we'll see that as the houses get built, that number is going to start creeping up slowly. And right now we're producing 35, therefore we have enough for 35 houses. But that's obviously not going to be enough for a lot of things. So as we grow, we're going to grow our batteries, and we're going to grow our kinetic generator system, and then eventually we're going to grow our solar panel system, which is going to save the civilization from running on mouse wheels, or having at least like 200 of these guys running on mouse wheels. Get out of here, food for all. What are you talking about? We're going to go religious focus, but to make sure that Kasu isn't going to win, we're going to take him right out of the race here. Yeah, I know, it's not fair. But sometimes life ain't fair, is it? They didn't like that for some reason. Didn't like it so much they sent in a UFO. Okay, the expedition camp is up. I'm gonna send 5 educated and 5 you know what? I'm just gonna send 8 educated. So this one, I'm gonna let you decide. I'm gonna say no for now, but pick whatever you feel like for that one. I'm not gonna spoil that outcome for you. Where was it? Yes. I'm gonna give them a bit of food. I'll give them like 10 minutes worth of food, 11 maybe, so they just come down and back pretty quick. And that way we can get a little bit of the DP, but we're not sending them down there for an hour at a time, because in this, as far as this upgrade goes, you can't make it to the core anyways, so it's not really worth trying. Dude, come on. I'm trying to do a tutorial here. You damn kids, get off my lawn. So where's that defense tower? Where is it? There it is. And rebuild. Yeah, good. 63 up. That's even better. Yeah, these warehouses. I am not at all needing storage right now. Basically, they're utilizing everything that I've stored, which is kind of good, but I would rather have a surplus of things. And this is just kind of showing what happens and how to deal with if you do happen to find yourself jumping into the next stage a little sooner than you were actually ready for. Because right now I'm down on planks hard. I'm up on herbs though, so I'm gonna try and trade off a couple things just to help my situation out a bit. I don't need that much stone, so I'm gonna give them 50 stone and say 75 herbs. And what I need most is 41 planks, but I will settle with 31. There we go. So that'll give me a little boost in planks here. Not great, but maybe just enough for the wood refineries to actually catch up. As long as I got everybody employed in my wood refineries. Alright, yeah, and that next, this will help quite a bit too. Getting 6 more people on the job. We have 35 laborers still, so that's doing alright. And slowly but surely, we're working our way over to the dark side of the moon over here. Should I? Should I not? Should I? They're overwhelmed. Well, now they're slightly more overwhelmed. But I have faith in them. They'll make it. Okay, sweet. Those farms are up and running. Great. Well, are up. Now let's get them running, I should say. And 36 for crystalline. That's a good number. Okay, do another double check on the eateries and the farms, just to make sure that I haven't left anybody out. I have. There's one. And for the farm, still waiting. Maybe I can prioritize this. Already done. Just need more planks because of the great plank shortage of 169. We should be able to catch up on that within the next couple of years. I will, however, try and expedite it a bit more. Try it. Man. Cool. Okay. Let's keep that guy over here. Double check on my water numbers here. 15 minutes till the end, 369 and 568. So again, we're just going to make this one. But hopefully by the next winter, same thing I said last winter, is we will have those pumps up. And all will be well. Because yeah, okay, sweet. They're getting constructed right now. That's really going to offset next year's water wonkiness. Alright, see where these wolves are getting. Nope, not yet. Wild animals, come on, wild animals, where are you? Probably gonna take at least one off my hands, aren't you? Oh, that was pretty nice for the farm. That's prioritizing actually works sometimes. Not that we can start growing anything right now, but next summer, that'll be perfect. Wolves, 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 wolves. There it is. Oh, a lot of dead wolves. And a sick nuggy. Come here, Siki. Perfect timing for this graveyard to be built. We're gonna have a lot of death right here. And over here. Yes. Those garrisons did a pretty damn good job. That was a pretty big wave of wolves. So I'm gonna put another one down to celebrate. Celebrate the Battle of 171. That'd be a kind of cool little addition to this, is having like a history book, you know, of all the major events that occurred. Although I don't think they're going to put that in for some strange reason. Oh, that poor turtle. We had enough food. Maybe we should stop telling them hunt small animals there. And yeah, completely down to 0 on the wood. That's awesome. We'll go back to our exile buddies and ask us for another bailout. You're not gonna bail me out. How about the other guys? Where are the other guys? You guys, the ones that threw tornadoes at me? You got anything? Nope. Okay, great. Well, luck of the draw is that's just a waiting game now. Once that wood refinery gets built. Actually, it's already built, right? No. So the next one, once that's built, then hopefully that balances out. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, like sometimes, you know, 6 wood refineries isn't a bad idea. It sounds excessive, but as you can see right here, you know, sometimes they just don't produce enough for a really big influx of anything. And if you don't have a lot of surplus, then yeah, you're gonna take a hit like this. But you'll see as this one gets constructed, we should start recovering pretty easily. At 75 DP, so I'm gonna send another 6 and 4. I don't have a lot of laborers, so I don't want to send too many down, nor do I want to send them for too long. So it's gonna be another, you know, 12-13 minute run. So by the time they get down for 7 minutes, then they'll come back for 7 minutes. And that'll give us enough DP to unlock a couple more things that we need. Oh, sweet. It's good to know that the ad wasn't too long. Well, I'll have a drink to that. What do you think? Cheers, Azure. Moderator to the stars. Okay. There we go. Wood refinery's rocking. Let's do, yeah, we got 29 nuggets. We're going to get all of them in there. Because, okay, here's another quest. Here's the overpack quest. This is the one that people are having a lot of trouble with. So I'll show you how, hopefully, I don't totally fail right here. Always a potential. That's live for you. So we'll place the courier's hut. And then once we place this hut, they're going to have a couple packages on the ground in front of the hut here, right? So all you got to do is pick one up with telekinesis and then press F. And that's going to take you to a mailbox. Make sure the mailbox has that other green circle and then drop it in. And that's all you need to do. But man, is that tricky if you don't know it, you know? So you pick it up, you press F, it's going to take you somewhere. And if you throw it without that little inner circle being lit, then the box drops and disappears, and it's just no bueno. And sometimes there's random amounts of boxes, so 5, 6 packages. Sometimes you have to deliver a lot of them. But then once you complete the quest, that courier's hut is instantly built, which is awesome. So we're going to throw a whole bunch of our remaining laborers in there, educated, uneducated, doesn't really matter. But these guys are going to start carrying the heavy loads now. And my computer just crashed. All right, so I'm going to end that here based on the fact that that courier's hut just killed my game. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you later. See ya.